Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I'd really appreciate it, and I commit to updating this every day for your viewing pleasure. If you like this watch, you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com, for buying, trading, and selling luxury watches. Today we are discussing one of the most impressive Breitling limited editions and complications of the modern era. This is the 2012 model year, one of 25 limited edition Breitling Transocean Perpetual Chronograph, a timepiece with a rare tandem of chronometer certification, perpetual calendar, and chronograph, all with a remarkably complete dial display that includes everything from seasons to the week of the year. This is 43 millimeters of red gold, extraordinarily rare, and this is number one of the 25. So on my wrist you can see 43 millimeters in diameter. I actually encountered this exact watch in a Breitling boutique in 2016. It was number one of 25. So this is a reunion of sorts, and it's as slim as I remember. Not because it's objectively thin, but the aspect ratio is superb. 43 millimeters wide by 15.5 thick means that it is more elegant than most Breitling sports watches, especially those of the Bentley persuasion. You'll also find that lug-to-lug, it has a gorgeous span. It's big, but it has a lovely loft from side to side. 55 millimeters lug-to-lug. It's the curvature of those lugs that makes the watch fit on a smaller wrist. I would say 15 centimeters is the lower limit for wearing this watch, and that's largely possible because the lugs create an effective camber or curvature around the wrist. Let me show you the watch at a distance real quick so you can get a sense of it in profile. It fits, but again, you don't want to go too much smaller than 15 centimeters. The timepiece has a wonderfully deluxe strap to match a wonderfully deluxe complication. Aviator inspired, the timepiece uses a leather strap in gator rather than aviator calf. Calf is more common for aviators, but leather in gator scale is simply more expensive and richer. Semi-gloss, black, sheer flanks that are wonderfully deep and substantial, contrasting stitch, calf skin on the underside where you feel it against the skin. Now the clasp is a lovely piece that is both red gold to match the case and thoughtfully designed. It features a minderless system, so you'll note no loops, no minder loops on this side, and no perforations on this side. You simply tuck the excess length underneath the clasp, so when fully sized, it's exceptionally clean with no loops and no excess flapping in the breeze. Now the clasp, like the case, is not rose, it's not pink gold, it is red. Very intense. And the fact that you get a full clasp with a deep and substantial gold case and a solid gold case back means that on the wrist, this feels almost as heavy as a platinum watch. It's awe-inspiring. It's also surprisingly detailed. When you look at the case at close range, you can see there's a lot more going on here than you're used to seeing on big and bold Breitlings. We almost use the term bold derisively when we discuss big Breitling watches, but here it qualifies. The watch is bold, and it's also beautiful, as the step of the lugs nicely separates their sculptural form from the case, so you don't feel like you're looking at a massive metal. There's a break in the case band caused by the case back, which is stepped in several stages to pair the visual mass and profile. There's also a step to the bezel, which has a small vertical portion that runs perfectly aligned with the case. Now there's that step or cleft line that distinguishes the lug from the case band, and there is a beveled transition that actually starts at the root of the lug and then flares as it approaches the edge. It's perhaps more visible in person than it is on camera, but it's gorgeous and well chosen. Turn it all around and you can see a lovely Breitling B logo on the crown, as well as vintage-inspired pump pushers. The Transocean line, at least pre-Georges Kern, was inspired by non-Navitimer, non-super ocean Breitling watches of the 1950s, and so you can see some echoes in the case design as well as in the dial layout. But the dial is where this watch really comes into its own. The case is grand and it's intense in copper dominant red gold, but the dial in matte black with a gilt style golden print, golden hands, and golden indices hand applied is lush in a way that very few Breitling dials are. Now outboard you can see in gilt gold the tachymeter scale, so that is present and correct. It's just inboard of the bezel. It's on the dial rather than outboard of the bezel. You can see that the indices themselves are rose gold, or red gold I should say, and applied. The hands are matching, and there is luminescence on this dial. You can see there's even a double index in lume at the hour at 12 so that you can align the watch properly and read it in the dark. Sunken registers to add another focal plane and break up the mass. You'll note it's all a matte black to max the contrast and reduce glare. And many of these registers, which create a gorgeous cruciform symmetry, do double or even triple duty. For example, you have a 24-hour indicator, a danger zone indicator, so you know when not to set the calendar at 6 o'clock. You also have the Perpetual calendar's day of the week. You also have the Chronograph's hour register. You have a radial date and a season indicator and constant seconds at 12 o'clock. And then you have a leap year cycle indicator, chronograph minutes, and the month of the year at 3. You have a week of the year indicator, coaxial with the moon phase, at 3. So you have, you have at 9 that triple register, and you have at 3 that coaxial register with the week of the year, a rare feature, but for example, Audemars Piguet also uses one on its Perpetual calendar, and it's worth noting, this is a Perpetual calendar. Caliber 29, which is rarely used, is present and correct here. Breitling is famous for its 1461-day quadrennial calendars that need to be adjusted once on the leap year every 4 years. This is a Perpetual. It does not have to be adjusted until the year 2100. So wear it every day, and it's set it and forget precise. Now the movement, the Caliber 29, is based on a chronometer grade ETA 2892A2. Very precise, very tough. It's also slim enough that a Dubois-Depraz Perpetual calendar module and a Dubois-Depraz tri-register chronograph module with vertical clutch can be placed on top of the movement. 42-hour power reserve automatic winding. The watch is water resistant to 50 meters, which is excellent for a dress watch, but it's still not something you would want to take swimming. Now it does feature hacking or stop seconds because the 2892 features hacking or stop seconds. Beaten away at 4 Hertz, it's everything a 2892 in chronometer grade is, plus it has complications you would expect from $100,000 watches sold by Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe. Now, this was an expensive watch in its own right. Back when I saw this exact serial number 1 in a Breitling boutique in 2016, it had a retail price of $57,000 plus, which is to say, it's a great watch to buy pre-owned because you're getting a tremendous machine at true value. At $57,000, I would be hesitant, but at about half that price pre-owned, this is an impressive proposition. Proof that not everything conceived and executed by Breitling's Regime Ancien needs to be purged. This is a message to Georges Kern. Remember, Breitling still has a history of complications, of richness, of elegance, and yes, of boldness. And I mean that as the ultimate compliment. See this old school Breitling, one of 25 made, on the watch box. Darkness simplifies relationships and watches. This is the Breitling Transocean Perpetual Calendar Chronograph, fully loomed, not just at the quarters, but at all 12 of the hour indices, minutes and hours at center, with a double index at 12 so you can align the watch properly and read the time easily. See it by day on the watch box.